Success isn't for the chosen few, it's for those who choose to show up, take action, and never back down. This is the Empower Entrepreneur, hosted by Rohit Soni, airing across 185 countries, 26 plus TV networks, and 100 plus podcast stations. You've heard the strategies, you've seen the mindset. Now it's time to execute. I'll see you next week, every Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific and 8 p.m. Eastern. Go, build, dominate. Until next time, stay empowered. So, hello everyone, welcome back to the Empower Entrepreneur TV show. This is your host, Rohit Soni, and today I'm with a very special guest. Before I introduce them to you, I just want to talk to you about one thing, right? Success is something everyone wants to achieve, right? If you're watching this show today on E360 TV, I know, right? You have goals in mind, you have vision, you have ambition, and you want to take your business and life to the next level, right? But sometimes that success feels empty, and it's in those places when you actually finally reach the goal, you feel that nothing's actually happened to you. You haven't even evolved. There's something that's missing in your life, right? In saying that, what we really want to do in our show today is to let you know what to do in those situations. And I'm trust me when I tell you, everyone goes through that one way in shape or form in their life, right? No matter what, right? So in saying that, I want to quickly introduce you to my guest before I invite them on the stage. So Tanya Raquel has been one of the, you know, she has spent more than 20 plus years helping some of the world's highest performers, including Fortune 500 CEOs, Harvard physicians, Olympians, corporate executives, and ambitious women achieve extraordinary success without sacrificing themselves in the process. After building a successful academic career in sports and performance psychology, she made a bold decision. What that decision was to walk away from what looked like success on paper to pursue, but she wanted to do something that's deeply aligned with her purpose, right? So, in saying that, she is the creator of the Success to Soul method, author of Peaceful Renegade, and host of the Success to Soul podcast, keynote speaker for UN Women, and is currently writing her upcoming book, Follow Your Knowing. So, I would like to invite
Thank you. It's so good to be here.
100%. Listen, I'm really excited for what we can dive into today, Tanya, and I want to make sure our audience gets the most. And I'm pretty sure you're excited for doing this. But before we go deeper dive into anything, right? I just want to understand a bit more about who Tanya Raquel is. How did she start her journey?
Oh my goodness. Well, I was raised by parents who got me into athletics, and that's the start of my journey. I am 5'3". I can jump through the through the ceiling, and I'm not overly fast. And so I had parents who deeply believed in me, and I had a mantra that I developed at 16 years old, which is I am a tiger until the end. And so luckily for me, I had this belief in myself, and I started realizing that not everyone had it. And so I went and got a PhD in sport and performance psychology and had a career in academia as well as sports psychology. And I was achieving. I was achieving a lot, writing articles, books, being on stages. And the whole while, I was a little bit empty, if I'm honest, empty inside. And that's when, after some life events that were a bit tragic, my father passing away unexpectedly, my life being threatened by a student at a university, I decided that I had to take full ownership of this precious life. And so I meld both performance psychology that I learned and was trained doing alongside with entrepreneurial skills. My parents are entrepreneurs who had 11 flower shops at one time. And I didn't realize how much these skills would carry over to me as a woman now in my 40s, even though I was trained in the academy. And so I use all of these skills to really help professionals, primarily women, but anyone who wants to go on a journey, to realize they can have success and they can honor what is in their soul at the same time. They're not one or the other, but society tells us otherwise.
I really love that. And in saying that, I think it's small challenges that come along the way, Tanya, that truly motivates us to do something big, right? And that doesn't have to be just, what you want to do, but also what you need to do at that time, right? And in saying that a lot of people need that. Let's talk the main things, right? So let's talk about why do so many entrepreneurs feel empty, even if they have achieved massive success. What do you think is usually comes in between?
I think when we start this journey as an entrepreneur, we're like bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and there are there are responsibilities that come with entrepreneurship. A lot of people will tell me they feel incredibly alone, that no one has their journey, which is true, but there's people around them. So what I find is people have a hard time asking for help. And then it's like the never-ending to-do list. The amount of people that say, I can't sleep at night because there's a list of about 40 things that I have to accomplish, and it's the have to achieve my dreams. So after a while, I find that entrepreneurs feel like it's just a job like they had at corporate, and now there's more pressure than they had before. And they're like, what is happening? And so over time, we lose some of the joy in the dream. And so I help people find what is the joy? Why did we get started? And, sometimes our small beginning is right where we need to be, and we don't have to scale everything. We can make small improvements and tweaks. And so what does that mean for you, and or what does that mean for me or another client? And it's always different. But what I find is most of us are trying to repeat what other people have done rather than honoring and taking bits and pieces from different people of what works for us. Because no one has the magic key. Right? It's just discipline. It's just doing it day in and day out and let small wins compound. And most people give up before the compounding happens. Right after the turn, we give up before the breakthrough. And that's what I hate to see for every one of my clients and every entrepreneur. We are just so close all of the time. And a lot of people are like, oh gosh, it shouldn't be this hard. And it's just the next call. It's just the next opportunity. It's just the next time we're on a show, right? We do not know. And that's the hardest thing about being an entrepreneur.
I get it, right? There are moments when you feel like you should quit. There are moments you feel like, shall I do this or shall I not? It's in those moments it truly defines your character and what you want to really accomplish. You started it just for the sake of it, or you started it for a mission that you have deep in your heart, right? In saying that, what do you think about the hustle culture? Has that done more harm than good?
So I think that we have been socialized to believe that we always, always have to be grinding to achieve. And it's some of our achievement can come with ease, and we don't have to opt so I think we get in this game where we try to optimize everything, be more efficient, scale everything. And what ends up happening for a lot of us is we optimize, we become more efficient, and then we actually labor even more. And we forget that we're not machines and that we're actually supposed to slow down to enjoy this journey. And it's when we get quiet every time for myself, clients, it's when we get quiet and we have time to really think about what it is we want, how we're going to do it. Or maybe it's like the phone call that we need to make intentionally. They're generally small things that move our business and our life forward. And we forget that in the hustle culture because we're just spinning to the next thing. So I think that hustle culture has made us to believe that we are not worthy of our dreams unless we are like up at 4 a.m. and grinding till midnight and get 4 hours of sleep when it's simply not true.
I completely agree with you, right? And Tanya, one of the key things I've learned is that, it's not just about what you're doing. It's not just by busy being busy. It's just being productive, being doing something good for your life, something good for the love of the game, like they say, right? Okay. In saying that, we have to run into a quick break right now. But when we come back, we'll discuss with Tanya about her success to soul method, which is very unique. So I'll see everyone after this quick break. Okay.
If you're a high achiever, a peak performer, or maybe you've reached the pinnacle of your career and you've turned back around and you wondered, is this all there is? There has to be something more. I want you to know that you're not alone. I've worked with thousands of people just like you. Maybe it's time we do something about it. My name is Dr. Tanya Pruitt-White, and I've worked with everyone from CEOs to billionaires, NCAA to Olympic athletes, neurosurgeons to lawyers, engineers to startup entrepreneurs. And what I find is that behind the success, when we have confidential conversations, it always comes down to one thing. Who am I and what do I want for my life behind all of this success? If this sounds like you and you're ready to do something about it, why don't we get on a call? I don't really care if we work formally together or not. I will give you my very best. And when I do, I promise you that will unlock some steps that you can take to being your very best self and to create a life that feels like freedom. I can't wait to get on a call and be a part of your journey.
So, hello everyone, welcome back to the Empower Entrepreneur TV show. This is your host, Rohit Soni, and today I'm with my special guest, Tanya Raquel, on the show itself. And before I'll just get them on the stage again. Okay. So, Tanya, before we went into the break, we talked a little bit about your journey, hustle culture, and what really feels empty for most people. And even after being very successful, they feel like there's something missing, right? In saying that, we discovered a huge method that you created for people, right? That can help them, right? It's called the Success to Soul method. So, could you enlighten us on how it's helping people, and what are you doing these days to spread it, right? To help other people.
Absolutely. So, one of the things I found is that when we are a high achieving human, like we talked about, hustle culture keeps us on this wheel. What I do with folks is really get clear on what is it that I actually want from this life. And without any shame, without any guilt. And some people want more. Some people want more success. They want more achievements. And some people are like, I just want to sit by the ocean side and read a book. And so the Success to Soul method is getting very clear on what it is that I want and what's stopping me from getting it. And the things that can be stopping us from getting it can be our own self-limiting belief. It can be our fear of projections from other. It can be that we'll feel guilty or selfish if we actually want this thing. And so we go through a process of what is it I want? What's stopping me from getting it? And then how am I in my own way? And so a lot of times in this process, we start talking about it is so much easier to be the victim in our own story than the villain in someone else's. And so we have to overcome that and realize that no one is coming to save us. And once clients realize, wow, I am co-creating my own destiny all the time with my actions, my thoughts, my beliefs, how I show up, my energy, that is when things shift. And then the last step is our structure and execution. And so a lot of times people will find me like, oh, Tanya, you're so optimistic and this is really great. And the last part is, okay, how are we going to get it? How are we going to recommit? How are we going to create structure in our life and the discipline to get the soul level success that we've always wanted? And so it's a process I take clients through one-on-one. We do it in Return to Soul, the retreats that I'm hosting. And I just create space for humans to realize that it doesn't have to be one or the other, that we can have and co-create the life that we want every day. We're doing it right now.
Well, I love that, right? And it's also not just creating the life that we want, but it's also the people we associate with, right? The people who we take coaching from, right? In saying that, right, we want to learn a bit more about your coaching, right, Tanya? How you help people? Is there anything upcoming that you have in place? And on top of that, if you could just share with us, go ahead and just share with us how you're helping people these days. That's all we need to know.
Yeah. Well, locally in the Chicago area, I'm always co-hosting events on June 26th, which seems non-traditional. I do a sound healing sound bath event on June 26th. In addition to that, I have one-on-one coaching. I will have another Return to Soul that will be coming up this winter. I just had one last week, and so taking a little space to regroup, and I'm thinking it's going to be at Cabalum in Mexico. And so reach out to me, find me. One of the things I'll say about my coaching is it's a space where there's no shame, no guilt, no blame. Wherever we are, I look at a human as being fully whole. And from there, if we have and that we have everything we need. Everything is right here, right? The universe gave us the wood, but it's not going to make the table. And so there's no shame in a small beginning. And I think that's a lot of times we have shame. Like, I should have this figured out. I shouldn't need help. I should know what to do. And that's just not reality. A lot of us need someone to walk hand by hand and show us a way, be a guide. Sometimes I'm in front, sometimes I'm behind, sometimes I'm right beside. And that's just what I love to do about it, that the person in front of me has the answers. It's just my job to ask the right questions and to sometimes walk alongside the path with someone. And sometimes it is a little bit of a kick in the booty. Like earlier today, I just told the client, like, okay, in the next 2 weeks, you are doing what's your priority? You're doing it. It's non-negotiable. And other days, it's like, okay, what is it that you feel like doing today? And so it's really reading people and what they need, because some people have enough blame and shame that they're like, I'm just going to keep doing everything you tell me to do and overachieve that way. And other people are like, yep, I need you to motivate me.
100%.
And there's no shame in either.
Listen, the only way to grow is having no shame, right? Knowing that failures are going to come along the way, but at the same time, understanding how they can help you be the best version of yourself, and right. In saying that, we have to run Tanya into another quick break. But when we come back, we have a certain set of questions for you about ambition, business, mindset, but most importantly, about how actually finally success can feel fulfilling as well, right? So I'll see everyone after this quick break.
If you're a high achiever, a peak performer, or maybe you've reached the pinnacle of your career and you turn back around and you wondered, is this all there is? There has to be something more. I want you to know that you're not alone. I've worked with thousands of people just like you. Maybe it's time we do something about it. My name is Dr. Tanya Pruitt-White, and I've worked with everyone from CEOs to billionaires, NCAA to Olympic athletes, neurosurgeons to lawyers, engineers to startup entrepreneurs. And what I find is that behind the success, when we have confidential conversations, it always comes down to one thing. Who am I and what do I want for my life behind all of this success? If this sounds like you and you're ready to do something about it, why don't we get on a call? I don't really care if we work formally together or not. I will give you my very best. And when I do, I promise you that we'll unlock some steps that you can take to being your very best self and to create a life that feels like freedom. I can't wait to get on a call and be a part of your journey.
So, hello everyone, welcome back to the Empower Entrepreneur TV show. This is your host Rohit Soni, and I'll welcome my guest again for the show today, Tanya Raquel. And we have learned a lot. We have learned about her coaching, we have learned a little bit about her initial journey, and a lot more about Success to Soul method in our previous segment. But in saying that, we have some very important questions to take a deeper dive to, right? Look, Tanya, is how do people reconnect with themselves after years of chasing achievement? Because people, they just don't feel it anymore, right? Sometimes. And according to wise alignment in those, cases is very powerful.
Yeah, so those of us that are high achievers, I always say I'm a recovering high achiever and perfectionist myself. This is the hardest part, is to have alignment, we have to get still. And we have to be still, we have to have space. And I work with people who are like, yeah, that's not me. I don't know how to do that. And it's like, well, do you want to get to know your soul? Do you want to understand what will be most fulfilling for you? In order for you to do that, you have to learn to stop running. Period. And so one of the things I work with people on is that all of our achievement is just an addiction. It's another dopamine hit, dopamine hit, dopamine hit, just like any of the other addictions that are negatively framed are. And so once we realize that our achievement is also an addiction, it's like, okay, we have to get off the addiction train because we are addicted from the accolades, the affirmations, and getting still, pausing, doing nothing for a little while is key. And it is the hardest part. The hardest part to stop running from ourselves. And that is one of the things that I help people just give themselves the permission to slow down.
And slowing down is what, takes people forward sometimes, because when you slow down, you actually step back and realize what's really happening, right?
Yeah. It's I think about working with a CEO and they're like, "Oh, I have such a long list." And it's like, "No, what are the top 2 things that are going to create movement?" In the meetings, like all these endless meetings or whatever it might be for the person. We want to do the things that create traction. And a lot of times we don't really understand what that is until we slow down.
And I believe the one thing I want to mention right now is with a lot of people, right? Okay. And it happened to me back when, I was in 8, 9, 10, 12 standard, because I was, a student, right? And there's a lot of competition, especially here in India, right? So, how do people know when they're actually living someone else's definition of success?
When they don't feel fulfilled, when they don't know what they're chasing. I tell people all the time, they're like, "Oh, I actually like to do this." I'm like, "Okay, then you're on the right track." Like, when we don't know why we're doing the things we're doing and we're just chasing and we don't feel fulfilled, and clients will tell me, "Oh, this feels like a job," or "I feel a little depressed," or "I don't know why I don't feel joy." If you don't feel joy, you're probably living someone else's dream or life. And so that's how we know.
I agree with it, right? In saying that, Tanya, we have to run into another quick break in our before our last segment. But when we come back, I have a very fun rapid fire for you. Are you ready for it?
I'm always ready. Born ready.
I'll see you in a bit and everyone after this quick break.
If you're a high achiever, a peak performer, or maybe you've reached the pinnacle of your career and you turn back around and you wondered, is this all there is? There has to be something more. I want you to know that you're not alone. I've worked with thousands of people just like you. Maybe it's time we do something about it. My name is Dr. Tanya White, and I've worked with everyone from CEOs to billionaires, NCAA to Olympic athletes, neurosurgeons to lawyers, engineers to startup entrepreneurs. And what I find is that behind the success, when we have confidential conversations, it always comes down to one thing. Who am I and what do I want for my life behind all of this success? If this sounds like you and you're ready to do something about it, why don't we get on a call? I don't really care if we work formally together or not. I will give you my very best. And when I do, I promise you that we'll unlock some steps that you can take to being your very best self and to create a life that feels like freedom. I can't wait to get on a call and be a part of your journey.
Success isn't for the chosen few. It's for those who choose to show up, take action, and never back down. This is the Empower Entrepreneur, hosted by Rohit Soni, airing across 185 countries, 26 plus TV networks, and 100 plus podcast stations. You've heard the strategies, you've seen the mindset. Now it's time to execute. I'll see you next week, every Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific and 8 p.m. Eastern. Go, build, dominate. Until next time, stay empowered. So, hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Empower Entrepreneur TV show. This is your host, Rohit Soni, and I'll get my guest on the stage. I'm loving the show. I don't want to end this, but we gotta end it, right? Uh, every good thing comes to an end sometimes, right? But you know what? You can always contact the person because they'll share all their details as well. So I have Tanya Raquel on the stage again. So here we go. Hi, Tanya. So we want to have this fun rapid fire, but after that, if you could just share with people how they can contact you, that would be awesome. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
Success or significance?
Significance.
Morning routine or evening reflection?
Morning routine.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee!
One book every entrepreneur should read.
Oh. One book every entrepreneur should read. The 4% Code.
Awesome. And what's one word you want people to remember you by?
Love.
If you could give your younger self one sentence of advice, what would it be?
Life is going to be more beautiful than you could ever imagine.
And last, finish this sentence. Success means nothing if.
You do it alone.
Oh, yeah. I like that. I love that. Listen, this has been one of the best episodes I've done, right? Most fun and most interactive for me, right? And before we go, could you share with us how people can contact you and what's the one piece of advice you'd give entrepreneurs who feel stuck or burned out today?
If they feel burnt out, I'm sorry I missed that last
Who
part.
feel stuck or burned out? What's just the one piece of advice?
The piece of advice I'd give to someone who feels stuck or burnt out is that if we slow down and ask ourselves the question, what is it that I really want? And what is my next step? You give it space, you're going to know. You're going to know. So you can just get off the rabbit wheel. Just get off for a second and you can get unstuck pretty fast. Ways to find me, drtanyaraquel.com, success2soulpodcast.com if you want to get a little bit more of me there. And then I'm on social media, all of them, and Dr. Tanya Raquel or Dr. Tanya Pruitt-White. And I can't wait to connect with all of you.
100%. I'm pretty sure our audience on E360 TV would be excited to connect with you. And listen, guys, like I say every week, right? What we really want to do is on this show is set the intention to transform. When I say transform, it doesn't have to change everything. Just change things that you need. You can go from point A to point B that lead you to the best version of yourself again and again. And in saying that, I think, Tanya, I really appreciate you for joining our show today. And I would love for you to come again, maybe in season 4. And I would love for people to know more about your work and connect with you for the amazing work that you are doing. So I'll see everyone in the next episode of The Empower Entrepreneur, airing live every Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific and 8 p.m. Eastern. So have a great time, everyone.
Thank you for having me.
Success isn't for the chosen few. It's for those who choose to show up, take action, and never back down. This is The Empower Entrepreneur, hosted by Rohit Soni, airing across 185 countries, 26 plus TV networks, and 100 plus podcast stations. You've heard the strategies, you've seen the mindset. Now it's time to execute. I'll see you next week, every Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific and 8 p.m. Eastern. Go, build, dominate. Until next time, stay empowered.